Hey everyone, it's Amal, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's crucial for everyone, especially in environments where chemicals are present. Understanding how chemicals can enter your body. You see, it's not just about what chemicals you're exposed to, but also how they get into your system that determines the potential health risks. Think about it like this: you wouldn't drink a cleaning product, right? That's because you know ingesting it is dangerous. Similarly, inhaling certain fumes or getting chemicals on your skin can be just as harmful, even if the effects aren't immediately apparent. The way a chemical interacts with your body depends largely on its route of entry. Whether it's through the air you breathe, absorption through your skin, accidental ingestion, or even an unfortunate injection, each pathway presents unique challenges and risks. So, let's break down each of these routes, understand the potential dangers, and most importantly, learn how to protect ourselves. Let's kick things off with inhalation, which is one of the most common ways we encounter chemicals. Think about it. Every time you take a breath, you're potentially drawing in a cocktail of invisible substances, along with the oxygen your body needs. Now, our bodies are pretty amazing at filtering out a lot of stuff, but some chemicals are sneaky. They can bypass our natural defenses and wreak havoc on our respiratory system. Imagine inhaling fumes from strong cleaning products or solvents. You know that immediate burning sensation you get in your nose and throat? That's your body's way of telling you something's not right. These chemicals can irritate your airways, leading to coughing, shortness of breath, and even trigger asthma attacks in susceptible individuals. But it's not just the immediate effects we need to worry about. Prolonged or repeated exposure to certain chemicals in the air can have long-term consequences. For instance, think about construction workers exposed to asbestos fibers over many years. These tiny fibers can lodge themselves deep in the lungs, leading to serious conditions like lung cancer and mesothelioma, often decades later. And it's not just industrial settings where we need to be cautious. Even something as seemingly harmless as indoor air pollution from paints, varnishes, or even certain types of furniture can contribute to respiratory problems. That's why proper ventilation is key, whether you're working with chemicals or simply painting a room in your house. Remember, when it comes to inhalation, prevention is key. Always wear a mask or respirator when working with volatile substances, ensure adequate ventilation in enclosed spaces, and be mindful of the products you use in your home. Your lungs will thank you. Our skin is the largest organ in our body and acts as a fantastic barrier against the outside world. But it's not entirely foolproof. Some chemicals are sneaky and can work their way through our skin's defenses, leading to what we call dermal absorption. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't usually rub chemicals directly on my skin, but think about it. We use lotions, soaps, and even handle objects that might have chemical residues. Not all of these are harmful, of course, but certain substances can cause a range of issues upon contact. For instance, ever accidentally splashed bleach on your hands while cleaning? That burning sensation and potential for dryness or redness? That's a prime example of chemical absorption. Strong acids or alkalis can cause severe burns, while other chemicals might lead to allergic reactions, rashes, or even penetrate deeper, impacting your organs. And it's not just our skin that's vulnerable. Our eyes are particularly sensitive to chemical exposure. Imagine getting a splash of cleaning solution in your eye. The stinging pain is an immediate red flag. Always wear protective goggles when working with chemicals, especially liquids, to prevent potentially serious eye injuries. Remember, prevention is far better than cure when it comes to absorption. Wear appropriate gloves when handling chemicals, wash your hands thoroughly after potential exposure, and never underestimate the importance of eye protection. Let's talk about ingestion, the accidental swallowing of chemicals. Now, this might seem like a no-brainer: don't eat or drink anything that's not meant for consumption, right? But you'd be surprised how often these accidents happen, especially with young children who might mistake colorful liquids for juice. Think about it. Improperly stored household cleaners, pesticides, or even medications left within reach can quickly turn into a dangerous situation. Ingesting even small amounts of certain substances can lead to severe poisoning, with symptoms ranging from nausea and vomiting to organ damage and even death in extreme cases. Prevention here is all about being extra cautious and creating a safe environment. Always store chemicals in their original containers, clearly labeled and out of reach of children. Never transfer chemicals to unmarked bottles or containers that could be mistaken for food or drinks. And here's a tip: avoid eating or drinking in areas where chemicals are used or stored. You don't want to accidentally contaminate your food or drink with residual chemicals on your hands or work surfaces. Remember, when it comes to ingestion, a few simple precautions can go a long way in preventing potentially life-threatening situations. Now, let's discuss a less common but potentially very serious route of chemical entry injection. This usually happens through accidental needle sticks or cuts from contaminated sharps. While not as frequent as inhalation or absorption, it's crucial to understand the risks and how to respond in such situations. Imagine a healthcare worker accidentally pricking themselves with a needle used on a patient, or someone handling contaminated sharps in a lab setting experiencing a similar mishap. The immediate concern is the potential transmission of bloodborne pathogens, but there's also the risk of injecting harmful chemicals directly into the bloodstream. In these scenarios, time is of the essence. Immediately wash the affected area with soap and water for at least 15 minutes. Encourage bleeding from the puncture site, as this can help flush out any potential contaminants. And most importantly, seek immediate medical attention. Prevention in these settings is paramount. Proper handling and disposal of needles and sharps are crucial, as is the use of safety-engineered devices that minimize the risk of accidental sticks. Never recap needles after use, and always dispose of them in designated sharps containers. Remember, while injection might be less common, it's crucial to be aware of the risks, especially in healthcare and laboratory settings. So there you have it, a closer look at the 4 main routes of chemical entry: inhalation, absorption, ingestion, and injection. Understanding these pathways is the first step in protecting ourselves and others from potential harm. Remember, knowledge is power. Always read and follow the safety instructions on chemical labels, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, and be mindful of potential hazards in your environment. If you're ever unsure about the safety of a chemical or how to handle it properly, please don't hesitate to ask for help. Reach out to your supervisor, a safety professional, or consult reliable resources online. Have you ever wondered what makes some chemicals more dangerous than others? Join me on a journey into the world of chemistry, where we'll uncover the secrets of chemical properties. In this video, we'll explore 10 types of chemicals, their unique characteristics, and the precautions you need to take to stay safe. First up are explosive chemicals, substances that release tremendous energy in an instant. Think dynamite or TNT used in demolition. These chemicals need specific conditions to explode, like impact, heat, or a spark. The key to staying safe is understanding their triggers and avoiding them. Always store explosives in designated areas, far from heat sources. Never handle explosives without proper training and authorization. Next are oxidizers, substances with a real appetite for electrons. Hydrogen peroxide is a prime example. In low concentrations, it's safe for household use, but in higher concentrations, it becomes a powerful oxidizer. Another common oxidizer is bleach, which can produce toxic fumes when mixed with ammonia. Always handle oxidizers with caution, store them separately from flammable materials, and never mix them with other chemicals unless you're sure of the reaction. Let's talk about flammable chemicals, those that ignite easily. Flammable liquids like gasoline and acetone have low flash points, meaning they can ignite at low temperatures. Store flammable liquids in well-ventilated areas, away from ignition sources. Some substances, like gasoline, ignite easily, while others, like diesel fuel, require higher temperatures. Always be mindful of the flammability of the chemicals you're handling and have fire extinguishers readily available. Next, we delve into toxic chemicals, substances that can harm living organisms. Toxicity is all about the dose. Even water can be toxic in large quantities. Toxic chemicals can enter our bodies through inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact. Some toxins, like carbon monoxide, produce immediate effects, while others, like lead or mercury, accumulate over time. Minimize exposure by wearing appropriate protective equipment and storing toxic chemicals properly. Dispose of them according to regulations. What's the difference between toxic and harmful? Harmful chemicals can irritate your skin or eyes, but they're unlikely to cause long-term health problems unless misused. Toxic chemicals, on the other hand, can cause serious damage even in small amounts. For example, swallowing a large amount of table salt can be harmful, but it's not toxic like cyanide. Read labels carefully and follow safety instructions for all chemicals. Knowledge is power when it comes to chemical safety. Let's talk about irritants, chemicals that cause discomfort or inflammation upon contact. Onions release a gas that irritates the eyes, and detergents can strip away skin's natural oils. Some irritants like chlorine gas affect the respiratory system. Wear appropriate protective equipment and ensure adequate ventilation when working with irritants. Sensitizers are chemicals that can trigger allergic reactions in some individuals. Respiratory sensitizers like dust mites cause allergic reactions in the airways. Skin sensitizers such as nickel can cause allergic contact dermatitis. The first exposure may not cause a reaction, but repeated exposure can lead to allergic symptoms. Identify and avoid sensitizers if you're allergic to them. Next up are corrosive chemicals, substances capable of eating away at materials and tissues. Strong acids like hydrochloric acid and strong bases like sodium hydroxide are highly corrosive. They can cause severe burns on contact. Always wear appropriate protective equipment and store corrosive chemicals in tightly sealed containers. Never add water to acid, it can cause a violent reaction. Now, we're entering the realm of carcinogens, substances that can cause cancer. Carcinogens damage our DNA, increasing the risk of cancer. Some well-known carcinogens include asbestos and benzene. Minimize exposure to carcinogens to reduce cancer risk. Last but not least, we arrive at teratogens, chemicals that pose risks to developing fetuses. Alcohol is a well-known teratogen, leading to fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. Other teratogens include certain medications and environmental toxins. If you're pregnant or planning to become pregnant, talk to your healthcare provider about potential exposures. So there you have it, our chemical countdown of 10 types of chemicals and their potential hazards. By understanding the properties of chemicals and how to handle them responsibly, we can minimize risks and protect ourselves. Continue exploring the world of chemistry and chemical safety. Handle with care, my friends, and stay curious.